previous generation Nissan Leaf has historically done well among EVs, selling well over 100,000 units in the US since its introduction 8 model years ago. For 2018, Japanese automakers set out to prove an all-electric car doesn't have to look like a science experiment. In the past, new models were longer, lower, and wider. In the EV sphere, that trio takes the form of longer range, lower charge times, and wider infotainment screens. Let's get one thing out of the way straight off the top. The 2018 Leaf is limited to an advertised 150 miles of range on a single charge. In a world where the Chevrolet Bolt can easily crack the 200-mile mark, this seems like a missed opportunity for Nissan to pull a vault over its competition. However, Nissan engineers say 200-plus mile version of the Leaf is in the offing for 2019, at which point the company will increase sales momentum. Naturally, the long-legged Leaf will be more expensive. The major factor contributing to the Leaf's 150-mile range is Nissan's fascination with keeping its battery the same dimensions as in the outgoing Leaf. The 40 kWh unit in the 2018 model consumes the same amount of space as last year's model, despite packing an extra 10 kWh of juice. In the old car, 4 cells with 48 modules each made up the battery. For 2018, double the number of cells with half the number of modules allows for more creative use of the same space with more efficient battery materials. It works out to a 33% increase in energy density. A quick DC charger will furnish enough electrons in the span of 40 minutes to travel over 100 miles. These types of chargers are level 3 units found in public places, pushing enough electricity to make even Doc Brown sit up and take notice. More realistically, a 240-volt plug at home, like the one for your clothes dryer or electric range, will turn the same trick in about 7 hours. A regular old socket like the one into which you plug your toaster? It'll take more than a day to fully charge the new Leaf from that unit. Designed for use on the freeway, the system reads lane markings and the traffic ahead, gently nudging the car back into its lane like a persistent sheepdog herding wayward lambs. It deploys a torque sensor in the steering system to determine if the driver has their hands on the wheel, rather than pressure sensors which can be defeated by, say, taping a water bottle to the steering wheel. If the driver keeps their hands to themselves for more than 10 seconds or so, the Leaf sends out a series of audible beeps paired with a visual warning. Ignore them, and the system will blare out a klaxon as if the Romulans were invading, eventually using the brakes to gently come to a full stop while flashing the emergency hazards. I did not manipulate the system to make the klaxon sound on my test drive loop just to see if it worked. No, sir. Over a winding road with poorly marked lanes, ProPilot did about as well as you'd expect for a system relying on visual cues trying to read a path of faded lines. The strobe light Doppler of sunshine poking through the trees on this secondary road surely did ProPilot no favors. The US 101 and its brightly painted lane markers allowed the system to work as advertised.